Sophomore quarterback Trey Swilling, questions for Trey?
Coach talked about, how you guys are out there on an island sometimes. You may have 4 or 5 plays to come your way, and you make plays on 4 of the 5, and the one play you don't, and everybody jumps all over you. I mean, how do you deal with all that?
This has been my position my entire life. I'm kind of used to it now. It's one of those positions to where if we mess up on the outside, and it usually goes for a big play, and it's one of the things that come with it. And when we make a play, everyone sees it well. So sometimes interior guys make great plays and hold their gaps and it's covered up. We make plays and everybody sees it. So I mean, it's just one of those things that just kind of come with it.
Of course, you mentioned too that you used the right technique last week on the one play. What else goes into the ingredient there of being successful?
Just being able to be more violent and continue fighting at the point of the ball getting there, and just kind of being able to trying to rip and claw everything you can to try to not make them catch the ball and not let them catch the ball. You can sometimes in DB position you can do a lot of the right things, and that 1 millisecond is off and it can go others way. We just want to be able to make that even less of a chance and continue to win those battles.
This is a weird game because you have a quarterback who can stretch plays and is such a threat with the run. I imagine that you really just have to kind of focus on your guy and can't worry about where he is necessarily in the game.
Yeah, same as always. Just kind of when we line up in whatever the coverage is and the coaches call a play, we believe that the coach is going to put us in the right position to make the play, and all we got to do is just go out there and play our hardest like we do every day in practice and just be able to continue competing and winning our battles.
What do you remember from him last year in that overtime game?
I remember making a pretty athletic play and jumping over one of our players. And that's really it. That's what I remember, his athleticism, his ability to make big plays and the stretch plays, just like you said. I mean, we all know he's a pretty good player, and they're doing pretty good this year. So it's going to be exciting to be able to go out there and compete against him.
Is there a particular way that you feel like you've gotten better technically speaking and just learning?
Definitely. This is my first year actually being an press man my entire life. So even in high school, we played off and played like zone quarters and thirds and different concepts where I was off the ball and backpedaling a lot. So this actually is new for me, just being able to be up. And like you said, just making strides from putting in extra work every single day and our coaches being there to get us the right technique and kind of not so we don't have those bad habits and bad techniques that we might have learned from just playing outside and just messing around. But technique-wise, I do think that we've all gotten better, from me to all the other corners and safeties and everybody else, and this is one of those things you got to keep on at the focus as always, because when your technique is bad, then it's easy for you to kind of lose reps.
What's kind of an example of a specific technique, like eye discipline, like what is it for you?
Well, usually it starts with kind of just your stance and start. There's a plethora of different techniques. We usually like to just try to get our hands on receivers and kind of disrupt the timing. That's really mostly what it's all about. And being able to disrupt timing in football is kind of what everything is on nowadays, because offenses are so openly spreaded, throwing the ball at a specific spot sometimes. And the really good quarterbacks like we're getting ready to play this week knows where guys are going to be at this certain time. So we just got to try to mess with it and show different coverages, so it's just not like them playing routes on there.
How much does it help getting something on tape like the play that Wanya made over the top and help from the safety in terms of your position? Maybe when you have a guy playing center field like that, that helps.
Yeah, those guys back there do a great job of just being able to show their athleticism and show their range from sideline to sideline. They're not even hash-to-hash guys. They can go from sideline to sideline. Everyone knows the ability that Wanya and Tariq and Christian and Caleb Oliver and every other safety that we have back there. And we've all just trying to just lock in together and get better together every single week. We don't want to just go out there and just have the games in our hands and just kind of let it go. We want to have the end in our hand and just kind of get a chance to win on our side.
Coach Knight, he was talking about his guys on the line. He was telling them, man, if you guys could go back and watch the spring game or whatever, you'd be like horrified and just how much better, like what you were doing then. Like you said, have you had any opportunity like that to do that with your, like, even watching the Clemson game or whatever?
Well, actually, I go to, usually during our bye weeks, we have a great opportunity this year to have 2 bye weeks separated with like 4 games in between, 3 or 4 games in between. And every bye week, usually I've learned, just kind of from our coaches that preach, and just being able to go back and look at the things that gave us the most trouble, because that's what the other coaches are going to attack. And that's kind of like a self-scout that I've learned from my coaches as well as from my dad and people that's just been around football for a long time, learning that you have to take that extra step into preparation and just learning different things about yourself and just kind of learning how to get around those soft spots pretty much.
How much did having a dad who played in the NFL, the guys all kind of credit you as being one of the guys who's most prepared and spends the most time preparing for games and being kind of a film rat and those types of things. Is that something your dad kind of instilled in you? Is that something or do you just picked up on being around him, or is that?
I think it's a plethora of things. It definitely comes initially from my dad and him being around the sport and him kind of just teaching me my entire life on how to be a pro. I used to hear this is how you be a pro and be a pro about it. It was when I was 7, 8 years old, just doing little things. If I was going outside making layups or go outside maybe just shooting the ball over the goal and not initially trying to make the shot. That's not how you be a pro. If you're going to go out there and shoot the ball, you shoot to make the basket, or when you go out there and compete, you go to win every single time, not just to kind of throw your hat out there. And then I also had a kind of edge about myself that I just kind of felt like there's always going to be somebody usually more faster than you, more athletic, bigger and stronger. You got to find another edge, another way to get it, just kind of get an edge on them and just kind of try to prepare the best you can. That way when you get in the predicament, you can make the play that comes.
Do you enjoy that? Like just the digging into the tape and watching yourself or watching?
Yeah, I forget actually where. Oh, well, actually, it was my dad. I just remember that fast. It's just kind of one of those things. It's kind of one of those things is like if you sit there and you watch long enough, then everyone tells a story. You got to watch it long enough. So sometimes even the most savviest offensive coordinators and quarterbacks and guys that just look so great and are great players, they kind of look for certain things defensively. We just kind of, it's like chess almost. You just kind of got to sit there, and when that formation comes, you got to be able to capitalize. It's all about capitalizing on opportunities.
How much better do you feel better physically at this point in the year through the strength program and the way they've monitored you guys with the catapult and all that stuff? Do you feel fresher than you would maybe at this point in the season last year?
Yes, I do. I just feel fresh, just like you said, just from them monitoring our catapult numbers, and us really getting weightlifting in and just being able to take rehab to another level as part of my preparation and doing everything else. It really helps me.
Anything else for Trey? All right, thanks, Trey.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.